Hey guys, today we're chatting with Cassandra. She's building a regenerative community just outside of Puerto Morelos, Tierras Nativas. And I'm really excited to be here with her and hear maybe a few facts about the community she's currently creating. What do you have to tell us?
Hi, thank you so much, Julia, for having me here. I'm very excited about this community project. It's a project that I built off of 5 years in the regenerative movement. I've lived in other communities, such as Punta Mona. I lived at the mushroom farm, and I helped develop a community in Costa Rica called Eden. So, yes.
Was that your inspiration to create Tierras Nativa in the first place? Like living in community and therefore making the plan to create one yourself?
So prior to living in community, I had this desire to build community here in Puerto Morelos, but I didn't really know what community living was like. So this was the adventure of moving to Costa Rica, living in community, and then I realized actually how many benefits and how many solutions community really solve. Like there's so many problems in our social aspects, our financial aspects, in wellness and even spiritual evolution that I see community as a solution for those problems in our society, in our way of our paradigm that we live in. And this opened up a new reality in how to connect with myself and with others and even with business, because sometimes business feels very extractive and living feels extractive almost. Like it's just this continuous maintenance where the regenerative movement is talking about how we can create something that is thrivable for ourselves, for the ecosystem, and for the planet, right? The ecosystem being the social ecosystem, and then the planet is the ultimate ecosystem that we're trying to mimic here.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I love saying that regenerative communities are the embodiment of the regenerative movement because this is really where it all gets together, right? The way we communicate, cooperate, live in alignment with nature, make use of regenerative solutions, connect to land in the first place. Everything really comes together in regenerative communities, so it's a power place to be in.
Absolutely. I'd love to touch on a piece of what you just said, which is that connection with land, which we were kind of speaking on earlier. It's very powerful, and a lot of us have lost the opportunity to truly connect with land. And this is our home. Planet Earth is our home. And this connection brings us back to kind of more of this like indigenous awareness of the elders and these civilizations that have been connected with Mother Earth for a long time, where in our society we see nature as something outside of us. And the regenerative movement is kind of honing back in on the basics of life. And nature, our nature, is connected to nature, to Mother Nature. It's not something that's separate from us. And that connection with land, in a way, for me, has prospered and like opened gateways for myself to have a deeper connection with myself and with others when I can respect my own nature. And that is through my connection with Mother Nature as well. I'm sure you know how that feels, right?
Beautifully said. Yeah, I fully agree. It's we understand, or we start understanding again, that we are part of the ecosystem, right? That nature, as you say, it's not outside of us, but that we are actually nature ourselves, that we're part of it, and we really get to learn this and experience it, feel it when we connect to land, when we live in community, when we experience it on a daily. So yeah, I fully agree. Tell us a little bit about your project, about the community that you're currently creating. Maybe just a quick idea of it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I will connect a little bit to what you just said and add in about the project. So part of the ecosystem that to me is really important, as well as the planetary ecosystem, is the social ecosystem. And so Tierras Nativas, we are outside of Puerto Morelos, like you said, on the Ruta de Cenote. And the goal is to be a conscious, intentional community. And it's not just about living together and being in connection with planet, but for us to really thrive is having personal responsibility Interacting, creating that social ecosystem is key. Without that, we're living close by to each other, and it's not enough. We see it in today's society where mental health is diminishing, and this individualistic way that we live is deteriorating because we are social creatures. We are animals to a certain degree. And that's been like a very big guiding point for me in my personal journey, is like allowing myself to be an animal sometimes. I mean, I'm a Leo, so I connect with that like lioness sense. However, for this project, Tierras Nativas, that social aspect is very key in like what I'm focusing on. How do we create a culture that is regenerative within the community? And that means we have spaces for artist expression. We have it's based right now in 3 spirals, the development, the master plan. And so one is Nido Creativo, the creative spiral, one is the holistic spiral, and one is more the educational spiral. So we have in the holistic a wellness center where you will do like your personal development and your devotion to any spirituality that you find important, because it's not just about one thing being the right way.
Right.
You know, I mean, I studied Kabbalah, and there's other people who studied Buddhism, and now I'm opening to the anagram and to many other solutions. And it's about people making their own path. So that's what I want to encourage. You know, there's no right way to do art. There's no right way to do spirituality.
Right.
And that's what I really want to foster. And then the educational spiral, just to tap into that a little bit, we'll focus on the different forms of construction, bioconstruction, the different forms of regenerative agriculture. There's permaculture, there's agroforestry, there's a variety of different solutions, and not one is the correct way of doing it.
Right.
It's having the understanding, the connection with these, the experience. For me, I'm really much about experience, and that's why I enjoyed living in the different communities before developing this community, to have real knowledge, not just information and theory, but that practice gives us like grounded information. You know, the words that we're saying have energy behind them. And that's one of the things that I want to offer at the community, which is going to be our phase 1, is for people to have an experience what it is like to live in community. So in our phase 1, we'll have a couple of villas set up, around 13 villas, and people can come and stay long term, so about 3 months to 6 months, and experience what it is to live in community. Because we need to have that transition, not just say, hey, I want to live in community. There's a lot of steps that take us into that. It's understanding conflict resolution, right? Something we've been speaking about this whole week is how do we resolve situations? We come from different backgrounds. So it's really important to understand that there's cultural difference, there's differences in our sexes. We've been programmed through patriarchy and through the capitalist system to view things in a way that's like even ownership. So we need to have these spaces where we can have conflict resolution between all community members. And it's gonna happen. So we just gotta prepare for it. You know, it's not a big deal. It's not like an ego break. I'm not attacking you, I'm attacking your triggers. And my triggers and your triggers are gonna dance and they're gonna fight. So let's make spaces where we can really resolve that in an adult way, in a mature way. Like, who taught us how to be adults is the question.
I think no one really, right? Right. I think this is another point that is just so magical about community life, that you really get the chance to grow up and be a child again at the same time, right? We get to play, we get to enjoy, but we also really get to personally develop, learn how to proper communicate, to resolve conflicts, to grow as humans personally and in the collective. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. Always with Regen Tribe.